Course Wrestling Network. You are gathered with us here, as always, every Saturday morning for Winner's Circle. It is bright and early, 7:10 over here on the West Coast, 10:10 over there on the East Coast, where Miss Anika, our Anarchy Queen, resides. How are you doing this Saturday morning?
Uh, I'm all right.
You're here. That's all that matters. So,
Yeah.
let's see. We are, as usual, for Winter Circle, going to be reviewing Collision and Dynamite from the week before. We didn't really get to talk about it, so I guess the question really is, are we going to do Collision that came on after Dynamite on Wednesday? Or are we just going to do the Collision from Saturday and Dynamite and save that Collision for next episode?
Um, I don't think. Yeah, I think we should do everything because it was only an hour and
It
it's
all
the
builds to tonight's pay-per-view anyhow, so ultimately.
go home show. So it's like, yeah, there's no, yeah.
All right. So you'll get a review, I guess, of three shows ultimately, two collisions and one dynamite day. So because there's a lot to review, and we do have a watch along tonight for AEW Wrestle Dream starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I will be here. I think CM might be here. I'm not sure who else will be here, but I don't know. Anika, you got to work,
I do have to work.
so no Miss Anika. Maybe we'll see her in the chat. Let's see. All right. So without further ado, let's get to Collision from last Saturday, October 11th. Let's see here. We were in Daly's Place. We had quite a few little like. The opening thing was interesting because Triangle of Madness, Harley Cameron, Chris Statlander, Tony Storm, Brian Keith, Big Bill, and a bunch of other people, FTR, Jet Speed, they all kind of had their little walking in and little they had a video package, I guess, where everyone was getting all hyped up for Collision, a little opening sequence video package, which is kind of cool. I kind of liked it. Um, I don't know if you know that your camera's pointing, I guess maybe at the ceiling.
Yes, I.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Opening match was the returning Kota Ibushi, who we haven't seen in a long time, in a match versus a Josh Alexander of the Don Callis family. And good
Casual.
as this match, as good as this match was, it ended in a very unfortunate way for Mr. Kota Ibushi. As we well know, Kota Ibushi is a very solid wrestler. So is Josh Alexander. I loved all of this until Kota Ibushi ended up crashing down to the floor, and it appears he broke his leg. I guess that's the ultimate
Like in real
diagnosis
life.
here is that he said he broke his leg and will be out again for a long time, which is
Dang.
very unfortunate for Kota. Kota suffered a bunch of injuries recently over the last couple of years, and I have no idea what kind of impact this will have on his career long term. Um, yeah, I mean, it's what do you think of the match? And unfortunately, what happened with Kota Ibushi?
It was a good match, like you said. It's Kota Ibushi and Josh Alexander, so you know it ain't gonna suck. Um, like I said, that it's so crazy. Like, oh, we're just gonna casually bring Kota Ibushi out. Like,
Right?
no returning, no, and period. Like that. Like, we don't know him. I don't think they realize that. I ain't gonna say a big portion of AEW fans, but a nice portion still don't know who Kota Ibushi. Like, they're not hyped like that. You see what I'm saying? It's like you still
Yeah.
need to hype him up when he does his matches. But nonetheless, yeah, a very solid match. And dang, like how you break your sir? Like how you break your leg, sir? Like shoot.
Yeah, he's definitely got some sort of streak of bad luck going on at the moment, unfortunately. Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you. I mean, they don't, I mean, I think that there are a fair amount of people, thanks to the work of Kenny Omega and AEW in general, that know who Kota Ibushi is because he's so good. They want to make sure that people know. But yeah, I mean, as a general rule, he hasn't had a lot of time stateside, at least not on national TV, not in the not in the mainstream wrestling world. So a lot of people don't necessarily know who he is. Necessarily like they know the name, but like to get hyped like that, they don't know him enough to be like, oh my God, there's Coda. Like it doesn't quite have that feel yet. And unfortunately, with this injury and being out for a long time, who knows if we'll ever get that with him over here in the states. But yeah, I mean, I was excited to see him, and then obviously that happened, and it was all bad. So post match, Don Callis grabs the mic and says, "This is what happens when you mess with the Don Callis family." And out came the returning Mark Davis, the other half of Aussie Open. Kyle Fletcher's longtime tag team partner has returned to the mix. I guess he's healthy again. They didn't do anything to hype that up either. I guess it's only Mark Davis, but still, it was like, oh, he's just here again. Okay, that all he had worked up and picked up somebody. So he tried to attack Kota Ibushi, even though Ibushi's leg was broke. Uh, and Kenny Omega ran in for the save, taking out Mark Davis ultimately. What did you think of a little post match stuff and Kenny and Mark Davis being back?
I think Coda breaking his leg kind of not diminished, but they're probably going to do more with Mark Davis returning. But they're like, we have to tell Coda Bushi's here, right? Still do it anyway. So there we go. It probably was more rushed than they wanted it to be. But either way, it was oh shoot, okay, cool. And I like Kitty is Kitty. So I love Kitty. Where you just gonna come in and just you like don't know everybody can get it. I just have a trash can. I just hit everybody inside, and like it's not even like I'm just throwing it. I don't care. We just like when your friend is hurt, that's how it's supposed to be. It's like no, everybody can get it. If you in a lot of fire, you better move out the freaking way, or you gonna get this work. So
No doubt.
I love, yeah.
No doubt.
How he came in. That was a really good thing. But yeah,
Yeah,
pretty cool.
there far too often does it feel like people don't run in fast enough or don't give enough impetus on saving people. And Kenny definitely made it clear that he was here to save Coda, throw in the garbage can, and yeah, he was like you should be when you're coming to to help a friend who's getting beat up. So
Yeah.
let's see. Mark Briscoe knows Kyle Fletcher fears him, and it's time for Briscoe to finally win the TNT title at Wrestle Dream. Slow Mark Briscoe promo. I like Mark Briscoe. Like I said, I think he's getting more and he's getting better every time I see him, even on the mic. Um, which is all positive. So I mean, the dude is hitting on all cylinders at the moment. Anything about the Mark Briscoe promo?
Is Barbrisco. Yeah. I wish there was an ounce that an ending that says, "Oh, he could win the belt." I don't think it's happening, but he's still getting spotlighted. So data that. But yeah, it's Barbrisco. He gonna get his hype for anything he
Yeah,
does. Anything.
I'm so nervous right now because I feel like they already missed once before with Briscoe when the iron was really hot and didn't put a belt on him. And now they're going to do it again, it looks like. And I feel bad because I don't know how many times Mark Briscoe is going to be in that really position where it's like, okay, this is the time to put a belt on him, right? Because he's so over. I don't, and yet Kyle Fletcher is Kyle Fletcher, and he's young, and he's right in the middle of this great run, and so I don't see him beating him, but you never know. Like I'm kind of with you at this point, where even though I'm not really a big like hot potato title person, like it feels like they could put the title on Briscoe for a month or two and then give it back to Kyle Fletcher or something like without a big deal, and then at least it gives Briscoe something, right? Like, because I don't know, it feels like if you miss here, I don't know that he's going to have that other opportunity again. I mean, to be fair, the future looks pretty bright for him, so maybe he'll have plenty of opportunities. I don't know, but um, I don't know. It feels like there's only so many windows for him to maybe win a title, and this might be, one of the few. So I don't know. I guess we'll see what ends up happening in Wrestle Dream. Uh, Video package on Hangman and Samoa Joe, which is a match I'm extremely excited for at Wrestle Dream. Anything you want to say about the video package?
Say it again.
Just the video package of Hangman versus Joe, and just all the stuff that's gone on in the past, and ultimately why they're wrestling at Wrestle Dream, and what happened when Joe was like, "Hey, you never beat me for the title," blah blah blah. So just a little video package hyping up the match for Wrestle Dream. Anything you want to say about Joe and Paige?
A nice video package. They have to do the Lord's work. of hyping this up within 2 weeks, and I think we're doing a good job. But it's still a tall feat to do it in 2 weeks.
It is. It is. I mean, luckily you got two guys that everyone really loves. I mean, Samoa Joe can come into any program basically, and everyone's like, "Oh, I love Samoa Joe," so it doesn't really matter, right? And Hangman Page is that guy at the moment, so yeah. I mean, it's definitely a short-term hype up, but luckily you got two guys that don't take a lot of work to get over with the crowd, so it's not like you got to do a whole lot, right? And my contention has always been, as I've said on here many times, you don't need to have all the past history. The fact that someone has a title and you're a professional wrestler and you want that title, to me, should be more than enough to wrestle. So, a couple weeks of hype. Yeah, I want you never beat me. I was the champion and I want my belt back. To me, that's more than enough. I mean, it doesn't have to be all. So, no, I'm here for this. I unfortunately, I think Samoa Joe's probably going to lose, but I mean, my heart is with Samoa Joe, but my brain says Hangman Page gets this win because he's on this run, and they're not going to take the title off him yet. And a big win against Samoa Joe is another big notch under his belt. But I guess we'll end up seeing what happens.
We'll see.
Let's see. Then, so slowly but surely, not slowly but surely, but it's a weird, bizarre way. The worst thing on TV on AEW for me, the Max Caster, Anthony Bowen stuff that had been going on. Max Caster trying to be the best wrestler in the world with the Open Challenge, and the weird stuff with Bowen's doing what he was doing. I hated it all, and now it's become like my favorite thing because of the dysfunction. So these two trying to coexist is absolutely hysterical. And they had a match here, Max Caster and Anthony Bowens versus Brian Keith and Big Bill, which is the feud that they're in at the moment, I guess, as a tag team. And yeah, the whole thing was interesting. Bowens ended up getting the pin on Brian Keith after Bowens and Max Caster arguing. Um, it was, yeah. They're still not declaimed. They don't want to be called declaimed, but it's good to see the acclaim back together. This is their sweet spot for me is together, whether they're existing or not, coexisting or not. And in fact, the arguing now I think is funny, and it's taken it to another level. I'm kind of here for it. Both screaming at each other how it's their fault. Now they're the better wrestler. I thought it was absolutely hysterical. I don't. I don't know. Oh, there's an echo.
Yeah, one moment.
I, I'm not sure what it's going to mean, what this ultimately means for Big Bill and Brian Keith, because it feels like they've, I don't know, kind of cooling down a little bit. I mean, they're still very relevant in the tag team division, but like it felt like they were getting hot for a moment, and now they're just kind of okay. We're here, guys, in the tag team division. So I guess we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, I thought this was fun. And I'm definitely here for all this weirdness between Bowens and Caster. What do you think of this and them getting the win over Big Bill and Brian Keith?
No, I am totally with you. This is hilarious, and it feels like this is their mate. This is their doing. This is 100% what this is their idea. They're like, okay, how can we come together and still be stupid? And it feels like they both are like, this is how we do it, and it's hilarious. It is so freaking hilarious. Like now, Anthony Bowens having the four freaking what you call it having like five freaking plaques of just random stuff that he was in. I'm like, what, Rihanna, it's like you freaking back. I'm like look, I applaud you for your accomplishments, but I don't know, like, what does that have to do with wrestling? I don't know. And then Max with his little document that he got his own published. Like, yes, keep going. This is hilariously stupid.
It is. All right. Our next match. I'm not sure why it was here. This was one of the egregious things in the show for me. Anna Jay and Ty Mello versus Dream Girl Ellie and Carolina Cruz. This was definitely a squash match for Anna Jay and Ty Mello. Ty Mello hit the gory bomb into a knee. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The gory bomb. Yeah, the gory bomb into a knee for Ty Mello for the pin. A little over 2 minutes. And there was no post match anything. So I'm not totally sure what exactly this match was supposed to do. I guess it's supposed to showcase two women that we already know that have been around for a really long time and that we know are both mid card. This is, I mean, I know they're trying to do the women's tag team tournament ultimately leading up to the crowning of the new women's AEW tag team champions, but this seems weird. I don't know. I guess this is a tune-up match for a team that's going to be in the tournament, I suppose. So maybe that's what the purpose is. So what do you think of this? And the
Yeah,
quick little win over these two
and
nobodies.
even though we know of them, just in case you don't know, more so Ty Mello, like they were a good team when they were on ramp, like when Rampage was on and popping, and they were doing all of the women's tag team hardcore matches. They were in the forefront. So I so it's just a reminder of, hey, remember these people were fun, and so it basically was that. I wish, like, I'm not sure. I didn't hear commentary as much, but I'm like, I wish they were like, oh, and they're just getting set up for the women's tag team champions. Like give a little bit of like, oh, this is why this is here. But like you said, it was fine. It was okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for what it was, it's disappointing when the women's spot is all of like 3 minutes. So yeah, I guess it is what it is. They get another spot later in the show, so I guess it's not the only thing they get. So the conglomeration is here without Mark Briscoe. They don't like the other Kyle. Kyle doesn't like Kyle. I love the Kyle stuff. That stuff is hysterical to me. Um, and then we get Willow giving us the Mark Briscoe send off, getting all crazy in the camera like he likes to do at the very end of the promo. I thought this was a lot of fun. I didn't honestly like I enjoy Mark Briscoe a lot in his promos, and I didn't really miss him here. I thought they did a good job in the conglomeration of kind of achieving what he achieves, what they get when he's there. Willow was hysterical, being Mark Briscoe at the very end, and the Kyle and Kyle stuff is hysterical. And Roderick Strong is always funny. So, what do you think of this little conglomeration promo? Sans Mark Briscoe.
No, 100% agree. Like you said, they did what they were supposed to do without Mark Briscoe, and you can tell they actually spent time together because for Willow to do it almost perfectly is hilarious. And like we're gonna talk about it later, but boo you, Duval. Are you supposed to do the cow chant, and you didn't do the cow chant? Like, come on, like they were clamoring for it, bro. Like, it's fine though, it's fine. But no, this was a fun segment.
We get a video package of Ricochet and the Gates of Agony, the Demand, which is kind of a dumb name, honestly, versus the hits. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I know I'm critical, and I don't have any better names. Like my originality and creativity isn't any better. I just know that I can be critical when they're bad. Demand is a bad name, so I don't know what they should call themselves. I don't know what would be better, but so we get a video package of them versus the Hurt Syndicate, which they will fight again at Wrestle Dream. Honestly, like I understand the necessity for another fight for another match at Wrestle Dream. I'm to the point now where because we had all of the buildup with them, with will Ricochet join, will he not? I'm kind of at the point where I'm frustrated and kind of at the end of this with Ricochet and the Gates of Agony and the Hurt Syndicate. I'm ready for both of them to be on to something different now. It feels like they've been circling each other for a while now. Now we're going to get another match at Wrestle Dream, which should be solid. But again, I'm getting to the point where I don't care as much. I'm losing the interest in it. Well, where do you stand on this, and what do you think about the match at Wrestle Dream?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I feel like this would have been a bigger deal if her syndicate were still champions. This
Yeah,
feels, and that's crazy to say because we keep saying people should have programs that don't involve the titles, but it does feel like this should have been more important, and it probably would be more important if her syndicate were still champions. It's
agree with that.
like we, like I think you like, keep saying we missed the boat. We missed the boat on Ricochet getting his revenge on her syndicate for clowning him, but it felt like it was too long. It was too long ago. It was too long ago. So this little get back or whatever is fine, but it's not a lot. I'll just say that. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. We get a look at Darby Allen almost lighting a Molotov cocktail on Dynamite because he's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. And then we see a video of them, John and Darby, getting into a fight at the New York City Comic Con as well. Um, And then we have the Death Riders in a basically a promo. It's all kind of one thing where they don't like Darby Allin much. Pac is accusing him of using too many weapons and props and says he's not a real wrestler, doesn't blah blah blah. He's just a gimmick and a sideshow. What do you think of this whole little Death Riders thing? The build up on this show to this match at Wrestle Dream between Darby and John.
Jesus. Sorry, give me a minute. Um, so more so the Death Riders and Darby, this is probably the most built up match of the whole card. So to that, it's like, okay, cool, good job. We are getting. I hope this is the end, because where do we go from here? You're like, it's an I quit match. You can't go anywhere else. You really can't. But I think I said, I think it's probably the most built up match of the whole card, and it should be good. I have high expectations. It should be good and fun.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously Darby Allen, in my opinion, at this point doesn't really have what I would call, you know, bad or boring matches. At minimum, they're definitely not boring. And John, is John, so the match is going to be solid. But yeah, I agree. I don't make sure this has to be the end of it. I don't know where else they can go, and I don't know that I need to see it again. Honestly, after a coffin match, after a street fight or whatever this is, I forget what it's called, but whatever it is happening at Wrestle Dream. uh, it doesn't it's gonna be yeah, I quit match. That's right. I quit. John wants to make Darby say I quit, and Darby says he will. So um yeah, I don't know where else. Hopefully they don't go anywhere else after this. Hopefully this is just the end of it and they move on somehow. So at least for a while. I mean, I'm sure Darby Allen and John Moxley will circle each other indefinitely, but hopefully they take a break for a while. Let's see. Then we had Tony Storm, Chris Statlander, and Harley Cameron versus the Triangle of Madness. Thekla, oh my God, Julia Hart and Sky Blue in a trios match in the women's division. Thekla ultimately spears Harley Cameron to get the win, a little over 10 minutes. I think this was fun. I mean, I thought this was a lot of good women in the ring. This was a good spot. It's a better spot than the previous match with Ty Mello and Anna Jay in a 2-minute squash. So at least we got this as well on Collision to give the women another segment. And I thought they all looked good. I mean, I thought everybody looked good. You have the women's champion, you have the former women's champion, you got this thing in the women's division at the moment, and then you got Thekla, who's a big deal, and two others who don't really belong, but they're here anyhow. So, no, I thought this was good. I enjoy all this. I'm a big Thekla fan, and I'm a huge fan of Tony Storm, so I enjoyed this. I thought this was fun. I'm not totally sure I understand why the bad guys got the win here, but they did. So I guess it is what it is. What do you think of all this?
Right? No, totally. So it was fun. Um, letting Tekla talk a lot now.
Hmm.
How do I feel about that? Because it is what it is. Like, I know, but she's so cartoonish with the laughter.
Dolores,
Like,
AD.
she's so cartoonish with her voice. So to that, I'm like, I'm glad they're pushing you. So fine. I totally agree with you about why they don't know why the bad guys win, because Blood and Guts is not on Wrestle Dream. It's gonna be it'll be its own little thing. I want to say on Dynamite. So it is like they didn't need this win right now. They could have waited for this win. But
Yeah.
like you said, all parties involved was are great athletes. So it was a fun time. But it was a weird it was a weird outcome.
All right. We got Kenny uh, in the ring, and he is sick of Don Callis and ready to deal with him. But here comes the newly returning and back to face Jack Perry, who comes in the ring. That's right.
Huh?
Uh, and Omega isn't happy about Jack Perry ruining or, breaking up his time, interrupting his time on the microphone. Jack Perry proceeds to apologize about what happened to Kota Ibushi. Um, but wants to know what's going on. Perry says they have the same enemies. Omega and him have the same enemies. Um, Omega is not convinced. The same enemies in the Young Bucks, let's say, and I guess the former elite, I guess, to a certain extent, and some other people out there, the Death Riders, so on, all of them that are all that, I suppose, right? So,
Yeah.
um, and I guess Jack Terry kind of wants, him and Omega to be friendly, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So let's be friendly at least. Not necessarily. I'm not sure exactly what he was recruiting him for or attempting to. I'm not a whole lot other than to just kind of have his back. And Omega says, "I don't have your back. But if you want to prove something, you can do it on a Dynamite." So we'll see exactly what that means. What do you think of this little segment with Jack Perry and Kenny Omega, and Jack Perry trying to convince Kenny Omega that he is a good guy again and that there should
Yeah.
be
A switch.
whatever?
I was a bad guy. Now I'm a good guy. Now I gotta make amends. So basically, that was this was. Uh, I love the acknowledging of yes, I was a dick. Listen, I'm not even gonna act like I wasn't being stupid. I was stupid, but right now, can we please just put it aside because we got bigger fish to fry? Like, listen, that's the baseline of every what do you call it redemption story of hey, at least let's help each other get rid of the crackheads emotionally, and then we'll deal with what's going on over here if you want to. But right now, let's just get business done. So like, yeah, it was serviceable.
Let's see. We got Statlander and Harley Cameron. They're talking about how things are not getting tense between Statlander and Tony Storm. Harley Cameron says she can't team with Statlander to win the women's tag. Statlander gets it as she has to defend the women's world title. Uh, let's see. Wheeler Yuta interrupts, and then Tony Storm interrupts and yells at Statlander before pulling her T-shirt open to yeah, the whole thing was kind of weird. Got a little weird once Wheeler Yuta and Tony Storm came into the mix. That's when I kind of exactly what was going on. But yeah, the whole little segment was kind of odd. What do you think of this little segment here?
This was super cartoonish. Like this was over the freaking top. I love the beginning where basically Stat was like, "Listen, we're friends, we're cool. It's gonna change that, but right now I'm champion, so I really can't focus on anything else. So we can't go for the tag team titles." And I love Harley. It's like, so that means I have a team orphan. Like, what? Who comes up?
Right,
Who
I'm an orphan.
you
I'm
and your friend call yourself a tag team orphan? But hopefully that will lead to her and Monet because I do think that is a hilarious group to be a part of. So like I real life hope that they can become a team. Yeah. So and then here comes Yuta with his grievances. And, again, I understand because you did help her. You did help her the past couple of months. So I don't care. So he got right to be mad. And then here comes Tony, big stat. That's when it comes crazy. Big stat, Sassy. That's like, what are we doing? And then I just love that you was just like, okay, I'm gonna just leave. Yeah, the tail end of this was a lot. It feels like they didn't know how to end the segment. So Tony Storm was like, let's just brawl. And then they just brawl. So sure, it
sure.
happened.
It is what it was. Let's see. Dolores says, "Can't wait to watch y'all tonight." She is referring to our AEW Russell Dream watch along. So make sure and tune in at 5 p.m. for that. 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern for that tonight as we watch AEW Wrestle Dream live. So you can join us, each and every one of you. Let's see. We have Eminem are here for their casting call. Mansoor in his full heel mode. They're ready to fight. He's being a total douche. He says the Don Callis family failed to defeat them last week, just like the people here. fail to make their parents proud. Ooh. I thought Mansoor was actually kind of funny. I thought to be not funny, but I thought it was good. I mean, I thought this was a decent little intro promo. I kind of like Eminem a little bit, mostly just because I'm a John Morrison fan. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing was kind of interesting. What do you think of the little promo leading up to the match?
I this could work. Them being with like if for people who were in the 2000s when Morrison and yeah he was the original Eminem and they had the slow mo and the hair and everything. And like so him being with Mansoor and Marseille, I am here for it. Again, how much are you gonna do with him? I don't know, but this is gonna be a fun time. This is probably gonna be a very fun time if you allow it to be.
That leads to Eminem TV, as they're calling themselves, versus La Factional La Infactionable Ingobernables. La Factionable Ingobernables. How about LFI? Let's put it that way before I butcher it too bad too many times in a row. So LFI, who is now apparently being led by Sammy Guevara, I guess. He seems to be kind of the de facto leader, I suppose. Uh, but it is Drulistico, Mortos, and I'm sorry, Roosh, Drulistico, and Sammy Guevara versus Mansoor, Madden, whatever his name is. Mansoor, Mace Madden, is that his name or something? Mace, I think it's Massey. Sorry,
Jorge.
Massey. And John Morrison. Let's see. The Rouge hits the bull's horns, and then Sammy hits a swanton for the finish. It was not a very long match. It was definitely a LFI showcase. It appears that they want to try to, I guess maybe push LFI again now that Sammy is the leader. I mean, I'm not sure. Um, Roosh and Dralistico are extremely solid. So, and Sammy, when it comes to wrestling, is extremely solid as well. So, like the three of these guys together and them together is solid. I just don't know what they're going to do with them. Beating up on Eminem doesn't necessarily move the needle for me as far as what I want to see from them. So, but it's fine. I mean, ultimately, I guess it is what it is. What do you think of the match?
Like you said, I agree with you. This was a fine match. It feels like Sammy Guevara doing LFI came out of freaking nowhere. Again, like who have Ring of Honor? No one's watching Ring of Honor. Let's call the spade a freaking spade. No one's watching Ring of Honor. Anybody paying $10? Like number one, I'm a side note this, but yeah, can y'all please just stop trying? Like, no, I'm not sure how much money they're getting from Ring of Honor charging them $10, but just put it on YouTube. Just put it on YouTube. I don't know why y'all still charging money for this. Um, but that being said, sure, you know, uh, still need something for Sammy to do. LL5, cool. Alrighty. They won? Sure.
I
I
mean, Sammy Dralistico and Roosh together, that's a solid trio that I could see having decent trios matches against the Ops for the titles or against, some other teams for the being in that trios titles mix for sure. I mean, they're definitely, good enough. The question is what they're going to actually do with them. So,
right.
um, we get the return. Well, he's been back, but the newly kind of back Eddie Kingston. I think this is his third match back against the Beast Mortos, who is definitely an apt challenger. I like Mortos. This was a solid match. I love the beginning where they traded running shoulder blocks to see who was stronger, and then ultimately Eddie got the advantage. Um, and when it was all said and done, Eddie hit the spinning a back fist to get the win around 8 minutes or so. Eddie's now what 3-0 since he's come back. He's teamed with Hook, and we'll talk about it in when we talk about Dynamite because they have a little promo where we kind of learn the future of Hook and Eddie. So. I'm for this at the moment. Eddie Kingston is definitely. I mean, he's my top 3 or 5 favorite wrestlers of all time, just personally favorite wrestlers of all time. And so, happy to see him always on my TV, and I like Mortos. I thought this was solid. This was the best he's probably looked in the first since he's been back. Eddie, Eddie, because of who he is always a hair clunky. Like he's not always the most fluid wrestler. That's not necessarily his thing, right? So like, it is what it is. But I love Eddie and getting to see him back here, and another win is always solid for him, especially over a guy like Mortos. What do you think of this match between Eddie and Mortos?
It was cool. It was cool. We know that Eddie's still getting his sea legs back from being hurt and doing a full on 10-minute match. But they're coming back slowly but surely. It's like, okay, all right, now we with some gas. And I'm sure Beast Mortis is the best one to go against because he's balls to the walls basically, or just like basically I will kick the crap out of it. But it was a good match though. It was a good match, and he got the pin as it should. I'm just not invested. It's like this is fine, whatever, but like I don't care about LFI. Give Eddie somewhere. I care about to be invested in these matches. It's like that's just me. That is just me. But it was a fine match.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that they haven't kind of interject. I mean, I know he's just coming back and trying to get his, whatever his wrestling legs underneath him, sea legs as you put it. I'm still kind of surprised that they didn't put Eddie into kind of a more prominent storyline just because of who he is and his history on AEW. Somehow you could have put him in some sort of story with the Death Riders again. You could have mixed him in with somebody else. You know what I mean? Like he's got all that history. So like it is a little odd. But I guess, like I said, we'll talk about it when we get to Dynamite, but it looks like we're gonna get Hook and Eddie the tag team, right? And that's gonna be the next kind of evolution here of these two. So maybe that'll do something and we'll be happy with what he gets from that. If we get Eddie and Hook versus, the Young Bucks versus FTR versus those bigger guys, competing for the tag team titles essentially, then I don't know that they deserve it, but I mean, Eddie does, I don't know, I don't know that they've earned that yet, but I mean, that's where they're going to be put. And I'm here for that to a certain extent. So to see, at least see how it goes. So, um, let's see. Then we had the Triangle of Madness, a jump by Jimmy Hayter and Queen Aminata. Queen Aminata and Jimmy Hayter trying to get a little receipt back, which is nice. Triangle of Madness has been kind of, eating everybody up along their way on their rise here, and these have been a couple victims of theirs. So to see these two come together and kind of have some little payback, what do you think about them beating up Triangle of Madness? Security having to break it all up.
I love a good brawl. So I am never mad at that. Like, okay, yeah, I love it. And then no one, I don't think no one tells Jamie you can't actually hit that hard. You like, like, ma'am, you was trying to beat the crap out of these people. But I think Tekla, like, she welcomes it. So like, at least she has a good dance partner to do it with. We have to do more to hype up this blood and guts match. Like, this is fine, but it feels like after Wrestle Dream is when we're going to officially hype it up, where it's like, okay, who are the other people on Jimmy Hater's team do Blood and Guts? And like, I think Triangle Madness need two more people. So like, so right now we're just what's call it spinning our wheels until after Wrestle Dream to focus on Blood and Guts. This was fine. This was fine.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. But in the meantime, they do continue to have these kind of things that are definitely hyping it up ultimately to a certain extent and making, I guess, the match a little bit more meaty. It'll still be interesting to see who's ultimately in the blood and guts match. We still don't even have teams defined or anything yet for sure. So,
Yeah.
but we're slowly working our way there. Slowly. Uh, we had a interesting, interesting promo by Shibata, who didn't talk. He had the Botox, and they issued a challenge to LFI for a trios match. The Ops did for a trios match at Dynamite for the trios title. Why? I did I miss some? I guess I must have missed something. I don't know what I missed, but why is Shibata not talking? I'm not sure I understood why Shibata wasn't talking. Did I miss him get smacked in the throat or something? Is he supposed to not be able to speak at the moment? because the
So
situation was kind of odd, but it was fine for what it
uh,
was. I mean, I like Shibata. The promo was even weird coming from a human, but the whole thing was okay.
but no, I don't. I'm not sure why, but no, he's been using the voice recorder for a minute. They didn't really explain why. I think it was just a, you know, I don't speak
I guess
English.
that's the first time I really noticed it. I guess maybe I wasn't paying adequate attention previously, but that's the first time I've really even noticed it. Like, yeah, which I guess must be weird because I didn't know he'd used it before. So clearly I wasn't paying adequate attention before. But yeah, yeah.
Yes, but it's hilarious. I do love it because like, listen, what's the point? Like, I ain't gonna say what's the point. Yeah, what's the point of learning how to say English? As long as I don't understand what you're saying, and I had this translator to tell you what I want to tell you, then fine, we're fine. And so,
I
but
guess in
no,
that regard, it makes sense. Yeah, I guess in that regard, it makes sense why he's using a voice translator. Um, I I guess if you're concerned with if you're Tony Khan or if you're Shibata or anybody and concerned with the promo not coming off great because of a potential language barrier or any of those things, then I suppose that using a voice translator how it works. The whole thing was a little odd to me, but I mean it was fine. I mean it's still Shibata giving a promo, so it was fine.
it's so bad.
Um, we are. It's time for the main event. FTR and Megan Bain, the top dogs, I guess, as they're calling themselves,
Yes,
versus the Jet Speed. What did they call themselves? Jet Speed something. Cuties, hotties, Jet Speed babes. What are they're calling themselves something because it's Jet Speed something because of the women. So I forget what they're calling Jet Speed babes or something is what they were calling themselves. But
right.
yeah, it was something weird like that. But nonetheless, it is Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey with Willow Nightingale versus FTR and Megan Bain, Stokely Hathaway and Penelope Ford at ringside. You got Megan Bain and Willow starting it off. They go back and forth. It ends up, being what it is, a solid match. I thought it was a very solid match. Um, Megan Bain unfortunately does get the power bomb on Willow for the pin, a little over 14 minutes. I was definitely disappointed that Willow took the pin. I mean, I guess I kind of understand it because the goal is to hype Megan Bain and her getting a win over someone like Willow or this pin over someone like Willow with the power bomb makes her look very strong and all those things. I'm still not sure exactly what the plan is with Megan Bain. I mean, why does she need to look so strong if she's not really doing much of anything? I'm not really sure exactly what the whole goal is with her. I mean, Willow has definitely more of a following and she's more of a fan favorite, I think. So it's kind of weird to see that. But, I guess ultimately it is what it is. Disappointed that Jet Speed and Willow take the loss. Um, but, I guess I don't know. I guess we're hyping this up ultimately for more stuff between these six and between Willow and Megan Bain. I guess we're gonna probably get something between them two. Maybe we'll get a feud between those two here off of this. I don't know. What do you think of this match? What do you think of Willow taking the loss and the women getting the main event spot here on Collision?
Actually, this is definitely worth the main event spot. I would definitely say that. Shout out to the week before this where it was Kevin Knight versus Dax and he won. I love that. Like, oh shoot, okay. Now we're trying to properly hype these guys up. This match was fun. I feel like I said that a lot this review, but it was a solid match. It was really good. I love the whole Willow, actually getting physical with FTR, with Dax, and with Cash. Like, yeah. Like, if we're going to do a mixed tag team match, we're going to do a mixed tag team match. So that was wonderful. I did not like Willow taking the pin. I totally agree with you about. So here's the thing, right? Number one, why are we doing this match on Collision? I felt like this match, like, right after the whole Adam Copeland and Christian and Beth Phoenix, it feels like this match should have been done on Wrestle Dream. And like I know we talk about how many matches on the AEW card, but it feels like we hyped it enough where it should be on there instead of on here. And where do we go? Like, since we already did this trios mixed tag team match, where do we go from here? If it is just to do just B versus FTR, fine. I didn't think that was the goal. I didn't think that was just me personally. I didn't think that was the goal. And yeah, Megan Bain beating Willow, boo, 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 boo. I didn't like that at all. Like, what was the point? And again, it's on Collision. I felt like this should have been done on Russell. If it's on Russell Dream, oh, Willow got the pin. Okay, bad. But I want more from Willow. I didn't think she should have took the pin. It is what it is. They're still trying to keep Megan Bay strong for whatever is to come for her eventually. Fine, but I didn't like it. It wasn't, yeah.
For whatever she does eventually.
Like, I felt like,
Uh,
oh, I thought we all thought she was going to dethrone Tony, but Statlander actually dethroned Tony. So that's why I'm like, what is the plan? What is the plan now? Because I think we all were in the same boat of, oh, they're keeping her strong to eventually dethrone Tony Storm. But Statlander did that, and it feels like her beating it off of Stat, if that's the plan, is fine. But it wouldn't be as a big of a win if she would have beat it off Tony. That's just me personally. So again, I don't know what's to come, but we'll see.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to disparage anybody or say anything negative about anybody, but the reality is that, it is what it is to a certain extent. It feels like, as much as I like Chris Statlander and give her all the credit for what she's done over the years that she's been with AEW and all the hard work she's put in, unfortunately, it does feel a little bit like a step down from Tony Storm to go to Chris Statlander as champion, and then it feels like a further step down to go to Megan Bain if that's the next step. If she's going to be Chris Statlander, just because Megan Bain it feels like she needs more time to develop. She needs more whatever. She's not quite there yet, and it feels like that's another step down. So, yeah, I mean, when you think of where the title's been in the past, and then I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm not here for that at the moment. Hopefully, it's not Megan Bain, beating Chris Statlander anytime soon. I think Willow deserves a run with that title before Megan Bain does. She's put in more work and has a little bit better. She's more geared for that. I don't know if she's going to, but I think she's more primed at the moment for a run with the title than a Megan Bain is. So, but I guess we'll end up seeing what ends up happening. Post match, Megan Bain and Penelope Ford attack Willow Nightingale, but Harley Cameron makes a save with her guitar handle. So I'm wondering if we're gonna get some. I mean, yeah, I don't know. You said Harley and um, Monet. I wonder if there's any chance we get Harley and Willow. Harley's gonna team with someone. She's gonna be Frankenstein with someone that doesn't have a regular tag team. Not that anyone in the women's division has a regular tag team partner, but so it'll be interesting to see who they put Harley with. But Harley with Willow could be fun. So who knows? We'll see what ends up happening. What do you think of a little post match? And give me your ultimate grade for this episode of Collision.
Harley is precious. I always protect Harley Cameron because we love her. She should always be protected. Um, Overall, this was Collision show. This was a fine show. If for a Saturday night, you're not doing anything, we just go chill. I would give it a. Trying to think. There's nothing really egregious here. See, that's all I'd see. It was fine.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking C or C plus, somewhere right around there somewhere. I mean, Josh versus Coda before Coda's injury was fun. Anthony Bowens and Max Caster beating Big Bill and Brian Keith was fun. Uh, the egregious thing to me was just the Ty Mello Anna J spot. And it's egregious. I just don't understand it. I mean, I guess you're hyping them up because of the upcoming tag team, women's tag team titles, but it just, for me, it didn't really make sense. It felt like a filler match even for a collision. So, but yeah, no, I thought overall, I thought it was fine. I'm not sure why LFI beats MXMTV so fast either. Like, you're giving MXMTV like time to do promos and talk about how good they are, but then you have them get beat by a team that we don't see all that often in like 4 minutes. So it's kind of like it feels like you're working at dual purposes, but Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna say C too. I agree with you. I guess we'll both go C for this episode of Collision from Saturday, October 11th. That rounds out that Collision review. And as normal, we'll switch gears and Anika will take over as we review AEW Dynamite from last Wednesday. You just want to do Dynamite and Collision since they kind of all ran together, or
Um, sure. Yeah, like I said, us doing this collision next week feels.
oh yeah, no. I meant, do you want to guide us through both Dynamite
Oh,
and the extra episode of Collision? That's what I was meant.
oh, no, we can tag
Well,
team
let's
that.
start
We can.
with Dynamite. Let's
All
start
right,
with Dynamite, then we'll go from there.
all right. So this is Dynamite from October 15th of last Wednesday, the Go Home Show. Yeah, and here we go. We start off with the famous last words from Tony Storm and Statlander. And of course, they're hilarious. So they're backstage, and of course, Renee Burkett is facilitating this. And while Renee Burkett is trying to hype this, is trying to set the stage. You see, just like Tony and Statlander are just hype. They're just they want to fight now. They're just taking off their clothes. Like I don't care. And so and then Renee was like, she took off her jacket, like, all right, calm down. He's like, yeah, like, why are y'all hype right now? And it's supposed to be a famous last word. Like, so, like, shut up, like, settle down. You put me in a freaking interview, yeah, man. Man, I feel like sometimes Renee has to she has to do the Lord's work sometimes because yeah, how do you not break when they're being this freaking goofy is beyond me. But then we get so like as soon as Renee calms him down, Tony Storm starts it off, and she's like, "Listen, I respect you, I love you, but I need that title. After that title was gone, I don't know who I am anymore, and I took the title for granted. But now I'm coming back for it, and if I have to beat you to do it, I will do it." And then Statlander was like, listen, I love you too, but you're not facing the same Statlander that you faced at All Out. I I am I am ever evolving. I am all the pieces of who I was before to who I am now. I am the cosmic champion. I will survive all the cosmos, and I will go through you to keep my championship. And Tony Storm was like, is this interview over? And so Renee's like, yes. Okay. It's like, thank you. See, meet me in the ring. And so her and Statlander just march towards the ring, and then they start freaking brawling. You know, like a a good respectable brawl. And at one point in time, Statlander had the upper hand. She had her title, and uh Tony was on her knees, like, take your shot, take the last shot. Statlander didn't do it. They keep brawling, they keep brawling. Tony has the upper hand, and she has the title. And so Stat was like, take your shot. And so Tony drops the belt and gives Statlander a big smooch on the forehead, and she walks away. Like, yes. Basically, I Wrestle Dream. We will find out who is the better woman. Um, this was a good match. Not a good match. This was a fine face off, final face off. They've done a good job hyping up babyface versus babyface is a very hard match to hype up because listen, it's wrestling. I have to hate one of y'all and hope one of y'all beats the other person up. So when I like both of you, it is kind of hard to get invested and like, oh, I actually don't want neither of y'all to get hurt each other. But they did a fair job in they're like, this is a once in a lifetime match. We've been wanting to do this for a very long time. We're finally to do it, and it should be a good
This is
match.
a little Harry Potter. Sorry.
What no year? And so this segment was a nice little hype up to the Wrestle Dream match for tonight. Any thoughts?
I'm sorry, you said what I think of it?
Yeah,
Sorry, I was talking to my wife, but
you're good.
I thought it was fun. I thought it was a lot of fun. Chris Statlander and Tony Storm seem so far to have pretty good chemistry. Um, I don't, you know, uh, Chris Statlander being champion is what it is. I wasn't necessarily overly excited with that decision when they pulled the trigger, but I'm not mad so far. She hasn't done a whole lot with it, but it hasn't been terrible. We'll see what this match looks like at Wrestle Dream and ultimately what ends up happening. But these two seem to have good chemistry. It's been fun, and I'm here to see what ends up happening. So, um, all in all, I thought this was a solid way to open the show and a good way to hype this match, in a go home show to build it up for the pay per view. So
Yeah. All right, and so one moment here. So now we have our first official match: the Hurt Syndicate versus the Gates of Agony in a tag team match. Once I Hurt Syndicate, I mean Sultan Dunderman and Bobby Lashley versus my boo thing, my boo thing. This was a good match. I even though I feel like they didn't pace this outright as a rivalry. Like in my mind, so last the winter before this one, they did a street fight with it was a trios match. Like okay, they did this tag team match. Okay, and then now tonight they're gonna do a tornado tag trios tag. It's like I feel like one of these shouldn't have happened. I feel like you didn't have to do three. It feels like three matches straight. Like you could have just left some room for one of these to breathe until we get to Russell Dream. That's just me. But this was a good match. Pound per pound, I do this is basically a house fight, and Shelton Benjamin, man, with like sir, you're 50, you shouldn't be doing this though. Like they just the leaps up to the top rope and the knees to the face, and then of course Bobby Lashley hot tag is always gonna Bobby Lashley, you know. But the end of it, Ricochet gets involved. Uh, he actually does a spirit gun on Chelsea Benjamin. MVP hits him with a cane, but it's too late. 1, 2, 3. Gates of Agony pin. Hurt Syndicate. The first time Hurt Syndicate got pinned since they've been in AEW. Doesn't feel important. It again. It's like I'm not sure. Like this shouldn't be a down. This shouldn't be this much of a downgrade after they lost the title, where it doesn't feel everything they do doesn't feel as important now. It's like when they said, "Oh, this is the first time they got pinned." That should have been a big deal, and it doesn't feel like a big deal. It just feels like, "Oh, that's nice." And so I'm not sure what happens after this. Hopefully, everyone comes out better. But yeah, this was a good match. But I just feel like I just wish it felt more important. Hurts like I'm sorry. Ricochet gets the agony. We're celebrating, but then Hurt Syndicate came. Yeah. MVP came in and beat him up. They ran away. They celebrated more on the ramp. Oh no, it was fine. Your thoughts?
again, I feel like they're starting to kind of beat a dead horse here a little bit. I mean, we had them at All Out, didn't we? They were against each other at All Out, and then we had Ricochet versus MVP because MVP got beat in All Out, and it was his fault. And so he wanted to just fight Ricochet. And then we had that, and now we had this tag team, and then we got him. So in the last 5 weeks, we've had them 4 times. It's like it's a lot. Like it's a lot, and without doing a whole lot either. Like it's not it doesn't feel like they're achieving a whole lot by doing it for anybody, honestly. It feels like they've been circling each other for way too long, the Hurt Syndicate and Ricochet for sure. And yeah, like you said, like when they made it a point to say, "Oh, this is the first time that the Hurt Syndicate has gotten pinned in AEW," I thought, really? I didn't even realize that because they haven't made a big enough deal about it. Like you make a huge deal about Hologram being 35-0, but you don't mention that the tag team champions or the prior tag team champions had never been pinned. Like, it's bizarre. So, like, when they took loss, I was like, oh, really? That's the first time they've ever been pinned? I didn't even realize that. So, which is not good. You should know that. Like, that should be a big deal. So, yeah, I guess good for the Gates of Agony and Ricochet getting the win here, I suppose. But again, it is what it is. It's all too much. And even though I think the match should be solid at Wrestle Dream, I'm really not overly invested in this story at this point. So
It is what it is. Like I said, hopefully after this they do something to hype them both up in a more prominent position. But after this, yeah, they should be around each other anymore. Let's take a break from each other. Let's just end it.
yeah, I agree.
All right. So next up we have what I think is the segment of the night. Here comes Boxley and Darby with their face off before Wrestle Dream, and they said, "Hey, how do you want to do this? Well, there's a prison down the road. Let's do it in a prison behind a steel glass, behind glass. All right. I wish someone explained it, but I don't need an explanation because it was still so good. And so Moxie starts off. Listen, the game is rigged. Like, he's like, the first thing first, the game was rigged against you. It was a coffin match because you were never going to put me in a coffin. That wasn't going to happen. But right now, the I quit match, the game is rigged on both sides. I'm not going to quit. You're not going to quit. So what do we do here? What do we do? It's dilemma. And so Darby comes out with, he's like, listen, it was like, I don't think you realize, I actually think about joining the Duff Riders every day. And you see about like, what? He's like, look, I understand the cause. He's like, I understand the cause. I understand what you're trying to do. But the one thing that stops me is what you did to Brian Danielson. How am I supposed to trust you? And you turn your back on your friend like that. And it's like, fair point, fair point. And Darby and Moxley was like, it's piss him off. He's like, it's always back to Danielson. It's always back to Danielson. Listen, I tried to help Danielson the best that I could. And he's like, I don't think you understand. When are you finally going to get it? This isn't about me. And here comes, Darby was like, listen, when I was climbing Mount Everest, I had the AEW flag. I'm gonna bring that flag down, but shove it up your butt, and then you say I quit. And that's when Moxie was like, I don't understand why you don't get it. You think you're fighting a lost cause, but it's not about me. It's not about me. And so here comes, and so it gets a little like it's a moment of silence. And here comes Pat beating the crap out of Darby while Moxley is just looking into the distance and just waiting for it to be done. It's like, sir, what in the gangster game of New York foolishness is this? And so he's just getting his behind, Darby's getting his behind whooped because Pat, just like Jamie Hayter, doesn't know how to do a fake, doesn't know how to do a safe beat up. It's like, listen, I know Darby doesn't care about getting hit hard, but can we please just ease up a bit? And then finally when Darby when Pac is done beating up Darby, Moxley just leaves the call it derogation. He just leaves the room and the door closes. This was good. This was so good. I loved every little bit of it. I don't know what's going to happen at Wrestle Dream. I really don't. It's going to how are they going to end this match? It's going to be something crazy. But this was a good segment. Any thoughts?
It was okay. I mean, you have to try to do something to make it a little more original. So I guess doing it in a prison adds a little something to it. We've seen these promos from Moxley before, nothing new. We've seen these Darby promos, nothing new and exciting per se. These two have been circling each other for a while. This is a little long in the tooth. So is John Moxley. Just this character is a little long in the tooth for me. So like now we have two things going on at Wrestle Dream that I think have kind of overstayed their welcome a little bit. And I know Darby's just freshly back, but this feud is not new, right? And not only is it not new, but like this feud is based on something that happened now a long time ago to a certain extent with Brian Danielson and the Dutch Riders. I know that it's still kind of whatever. But like for Darby to be like, I'm here a year later to avenge Brian Danielson. I know you were off doing whatever you were doing and all those things, but it's lost its muster. It's kind of like it has that same feeling of, when you win, a title opportunity and you pretend to cash it in for 6 months and finally after 8 months you do something. Well, at 8 months, nobody cares anymore. You know what I mean? And now that it's been and I'm not saying nobody cares, this match should be fun, but we just saw a very solid coffin match. We already know what this is going to be. It's an I Quit match with no rules, which means we're going to see every single Death Rider, which means we're going to see, you know what I mean? And I'm not here for that. I'm tired of that. That match has been being done now for however long, we've been doing this. It's been a couple of years at least, if not more than that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a little tired of all of it in general and John Moxley and the Death Riders at this moment. But again, I mean, when you have these two in the ring, the match is going to be solid. I just don't really care, which is unfortunate because it's probably one of the biggest matches on the card. I mean, other than the fact that you have a title match for your world championship. I mean, Moxley and Darby is kind of the big match of Wrestle Dream, and I don't really care. So,
Well, that makes one of us. But no, no. Uh, I do get it. I do get it. Like when Darby told them they were climbing a mountain, I don't under. I wonder what the conversation was of what we are gonna do before you get back down. This is basically Darby versus when Moxley turned heel. This is basically a Darby and Moxley promo with a couple of people sprinkled inside until the meantime between time. But it is here now, and I don't see them doing anything. Like it's called I Quit. If they do anything after this match, y'all are just grasping at straws now. Like this should be the end. This should be the turning point. This should be the final bow of this story. And I can't wait to see how it turns out because again, it's Darby versus Moxley. I feel like somebody's gonna be set on fire. That's just me. I feel like somebody's gonna be set on fire. That's how someone's gonna say I quit. In my
yeah, I
mind,
mean,
Darby's
they
crazy
only
enough.
have so many places they can go. I mean, it's so.
I feel like if they do this, I would be mad at it. It feels like he's gonna set Marina on fire. He's like say I quit. All right, I'm gonna set her on fire, and, and that's how he would. And
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, at this point, I think the only way to make John quit is going to be forcing him because he's protecting somebody else. Because John's not going to quit on his own. So it's going to
I
be,
was
I'm going to do something to Marina or Claudio, and you're going to have to quit because of them. I mean, that's the only way I think that works. But I don't even know. We'll see how it plays out.
yeah, and unfortunately, Darby don't got nobody. It would have to be Moxley saving somebody. Because, like, all in all, even though he almost unalived Brian Danielson, he's for his people. He's for his people, and that's it. All right. And so
Yeah.
next up, we have Claudio versus Roderick Strong. This was so tasty. Claudio is still that dude. Roderick in the ring, he is a ring general. Point blank freaking period. And this basically it felt like a Ring of Honor from 2005 match. I wasn't there, but I like to say it because I feel like this would have probably would have been back in the day. It was that good. It was just pound for pound, like uppercuts. Roger did this crazy move where he the back body drop off the top rope. It's like I'm glad y'all trust each other to be doing this stuff because I don't trust y'all like this. But Roderick, if he was going to do it to somebody, it would be Roderick Strong. The last couple of minutes, the ending of it kind of was a little bit clunky. Where I'm not sure, like it was like a little bit of a misstep, but they just went to the ending of Claudio just basically uppercut the crap out of Roderick. 1, 2, 3. Claudio wins without interference from the Death Riders. Ooh. I wonder. Like, I'm not sure this is supposed to be any future implications, but it is nice to be. It is nice to be like, yes, Claudio is that dude. He does not need anybody because he is Claudio. Any thoughts on the match?
I'm glad that there weren't people involved because with the Death Riders, it seems like there always are. So in that regard, I was glad to see that Claudio got the win by himself. The win was the finish was a hair clunky, but these two have good chemistry and it was a solid match. The only issue that I have with this is that, so what? It doesn't really make any difference. Neither guy is getting an opportunity at anything. Roderick Strong has done nothing important since being in AEW. And Claudio, it's been a very long time since Claudio's had what I would call anything of any kind of significance in his, a win for him or anything going for him. So yeah, it's fun, but okay. I mean, it just doesn't. So what? I mean, I mean,
No,
you have to have matches, and these guys, they're wrestlers, so you have them. But I just don't know to what end. I guess I don't.
but no, like that's a conversation with go home shows. Do you do 100% concentration on who's gonna be on the card, or do you just do some random like one or two random matches? I don't. I think one or two matches that aren't on the card is fine, and we find out that on the it's called the tailgate pre-show. It's gonna be the Death Riders versus I want to say the collaboration, which is Roderick, Kyle O'Reilly, and somebody else, which is good. Okay, cool. But yeah, like when it's a go home show, I want it heavily focused on who is on the main card. That's just me.
And even if it's not a go home show, I just don't know. Again, it's fun because these two can both wrestle. I just don't know what it means. It just doesn't do anything as far as neither of these guys gets a shake really at much of anything as far as title opportunities, as far as big spots goes. So it feels like a throwaway match. It just feels kind of like, okay, we'll just put two guys together. I mean, which is what I mean, it's fine. I don't know.
Nope, I totally agree with you. Nope, I totally understand. All right, and so next up, listen, I did say that the prison segment was the best segment of the night. But this is a very close second. This is a very close segment. Evidently, it is Don Callis' birthday. He goes to the restaurant. Don Callis' family is there. Happy birthday! Yeah, it's like everyone's there except the newest member, Andrade. Evidently, he didn't read the contract or he didn't care that he signed to somebody and he was still a no compete clause. And so, you know, WWE ain't having that. So they put an injunction out on the compete clause and not sure what's gonna happen, but we're definitely not going to see Andrade on AEW for a minute until that gets resolved. But we digress. Uh, Don Callis is like, I love all of my family, and I'm just here to make y'all shine, to make y'all better. And well, the Shining Star has a video package for me all the way from Japan. Here is Takeshita. Side note: Takeshita won the G like he beat what's his name, Zack Sabre Jr. for the New Japan Championship. I'm like, finally, we all love Takeshita and we all want good things for him. Hopefully this translates to AEW because I'm not watching New Japan. I'm sorry, it is too early at night or too early in the morning. Just that don't know how to differentiate between morning or night because that's how late it is case in point of why I will never watch New Japan unless it's someone I care about on that channel. I digress. But so the catch that's on the screen, and he's like, "Thank you, Don Callis. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. You have made me better. And my present to you that I bring, I'm gonna mess it up, but you correct me. The IWPG Championship pole. That say right?
IWGP. IWGP.
There we go. That one. I'm gonna bring it home to you, Don Callis family. And here's Okada with the stupid I don't care face. He's not looking at the Takeshita. He gets the remote and then he hits it and then he abruptly ends Takeshita's message. And so everyone looking at the so sorry.
Didn't you know you pressed the right button? You meant to cut him off. Don't lie.
I love this dude though. I love him so. I love Okada so much. But
Can't hear
God
you.
Cal,
Oh, there
God
you go.
Cal, still soothing. Like, don't worry about it, boss. All right, cheers up. All is very it's a very easy toast to family, clink 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 clink. What do you think about this segment? I I I love Brody King. I love Brody Lee. I love Brody Lee. But if
Uh,
Okada and Takeshita win the tag team belt, I wouldn't be mad at it. That's just very. I wouldn't be mad at it. I want to see them tag just a little bit longer, just a little bit longer. I was against it because I want my one-on-one match, but y'all won me over. I want this stupid team that I don't like each other. We're good together to go on just a little bit longer. But your thoughts?
this was fun for what it was. I like Don Callis, and he's solid for what he does. Takeshita beating Zack Sabre Jr. I feel like it took Zack Sabre Jr. a long time to get to the top of that mountain, and he's had a decent run with it and had it for a while. To losing to Takeshita is no slight in any way, shape, or form. I hope this isn't the end of kind of his over. I mean, I wouldn't say that this is the only success he's had in New Japan because it is, and he's been very successful. But I just mean like I hope this isn't his last time with the IWGP World Title. Let's put it that way. That being said, Takeshita winning is probably a good spot at the moment. He just won the G1, and he is extremely hot over there, at least in New Japan, as he is here too. Okada accidentally saying he accidentally cut off the video is hysterical, and I don't really do Okada like that, but this was kind of funny and lighthearted, so I appreciate it for what it was. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Them coexisting as a tag team, I think, does have a little bit of legs. I don't know that I want that more than I want a match between the two of them, but it looks like that's what we're going to get first. I'm assuming that they're probably very likely to beat Brodito. I think Brodito's probably already held the titles a little longer than I kind of thought they might. I was very happy that they won them, but I thought it might be one or two defenses and then a loss just because of kind of who they are. Um, but again, who knows? And if they can get it together to actually be united and beat kind of a slightly dysfunctional Okada and Takeshi the tag team, that's a huge notch for them as tag team champions and under their as part of their defense. So I don't know, sure, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Takeshi and Okada become world tag team champions just because I think that Tony Khan thinks that's a lot of fun. So as do other people, you included. So we can definitely see that. I feel if they lose, I don't know what is to become of Brodito. Like you said, Brody King. I love Brody King, and I want a lot for him. Bandito, I like. I'm not as invested in Bandito just because I just whatever. But I like him. But I worry about what happens to both of them if they lose the titles. So we'll see what ends up happening at Wrestle Dream. But yeah, this was a funny promo, or this was a funny segment. Let's put it that way. This was a solid segment.
Yeah. All right. And so next up we have the Don Callis family facing Jurassic Express and Kitty Omega. It was a backstage
Oh,
where Kenny was like to well sorry, brain fart. He was saying to Jack Perry, hey, you want to prove something to me? You want to make amends? All right, see me on Wednesday. We'll make it happen. This is what making it happen. It is Mark Davis, which is Cicero, and what's his name? Last name. Thank it. Josh Alexander. So yeah, Josh Alexander, Cicero, and Mark Briscoe. Mark Davis versus Jack Perry, Luchasaurus, and Kenny Omega. And of course, the classic trope of can they Can they coexist? Can I trust you? You see Kenny basically handling business all by himself, and he's Kenny Omega. So it's like, is there any doubt that he can't do this? But of course, the more functioning tag team of the Callis family is basically beating you up. So at one point in time, it's like, sir, let you have to let it go, and he does. He tags in Jack Perry, and Jack Perry goes balls to the wall, and eventually you see Jack Perry and Kenny Omega finally actually, like, not out of desperation, but actually working together for the to get the job done. And what's his name? Uh they put on here. I want to get it right. They put one of the Callis families on top of Luchasaurus's shoulders, and Jack Perry does a doomsday clothesline on him. And one, two, three, Jurassic Express and Kenny Omega. Oh, this is the Hechicero. Get the win. Okay, cool. I'm not at all. Cool. And so, but here comes the Young Bucks beating up their Wrestle Dream competitors of Luchasaurus, giving super kicks to everybody, but they get to Kenny and they stop. Like, huh, interesting. Like, do what's going on there? Are we trying to make amends? Like, what's happening? I would love for them to be uh more explanative of their feelings, more so with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, because hey, be 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 the elite is for life. It's for life. For life. So I love that. But yeah, all in all, we call it Jurassic Express stand tall, while Jack Perry does a over the top crossbody to everybody, and that should be a fun match. If you're ready, wise man, any thoughts?
Yeah, I thought this was fine, ultimately for what it was. I mean, I enjoyed it. A lot going on here. It's good to see, Luchasaurus back together again. It's good to see Kenny Omega back. Josh Alexander versus Kenny Omega always excites me as far as, them working together. Um, Hechicero is always fun to see. Um, I, the Doomsday device off the top rope was pretty cool. I guess I'm glad to see, Luchasaurus or Jurassic Express and Kenny Omega get the win here. Um, the Callis family isn't overly exciting sometimes, and although I like Mark Davis, I don't know how much he moves the needle. Um, and I enjoy Hechicero. I don't know how much he's getting over necessarily with the crowd. And they use Josh Alexander in a way that I don't know is necessarily um, setting him up for like the best future success in the AEW. But again, the match itself was fine in a vacuum. And Jurassic Express and Kenny Omega getting the win is always fun. So
Yeah, I think we're all like, if we're gonna use Mark Davis to the best of his abilities, just like not put him in the tag team again. But yeah, let Cal Fletcher and Mark Davis just do one tag team match together. It's like, oh, that's why Mark Davis is important. Oh, let's remind people. Oh, this was one of the best tag teams, can we say, of all time? Definitely in New Japan. So like, I'm gonna say, listen, I get it. Cal Fletcher is on a trajectory of being a solo superstar. He's probably gonna win the AEW championship next year if had to guess. But like right now, like, you can do one tag team match with him and Mark Davis. Like, they just do one to get Mark Davis over, and then let Kyle Fletcher do his thing. That's just me. All right. And so next up, oh, we good.
no, I just say I agree with you.
All
I
right.
agree.
All right. So next up, we have Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue, and this was probably the best that Sky Blue has looked since coming back. That wasn't a what you call a hardcore match. We're like, oh shoot, like she's actually wrestling decently. Like she did suck, and again, it's hard to get your see like back after an injury. But like we're not going to say she's top five. But in the ring with Jamie Hayter, and you're not sucking, is a very big feat. It's not like let's call a spade a spade. And all in all, Jamie Hayter gets the win with a Haterade. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, because it didn't matter. So after that, we have after Sky Blue loses, that's when Tekla wants to do a promo on Jamie Hayter. Evidently, it's gonna be 1-on-1 at Wrestle Dream, and she was like, "I left, I left New Japan because I got kicked out because I was doing wrong, not because I didn't want to, because I did it because I wanted to." It's like, okay. And so after Russell Dream, I'm going to infect everyone with toxicity. And David was like, if you don't shut your if you don't just behind up, like she basically raved off the uh the message off the Jumbotron, and just she kept celebrating. She kept kissing her bad stuff, and it's like, I don't get it. Like, why would you do this do this promo before the match if Sky Blue's gonna lose? It felt stupid doing it after the person from your team loses to Jamie Hayter. Or come out and beat Jamie Hayter up. But you doing it basically on the Jumbotron after your girl loses, it's dumb. It's dumb. And hopefully and Jamie Hayter should win this match. But your thoughts on the match and the promo if you want.
I've been critical of both Sky Blue and Julia Hart as being part of, Triangle of Madness and the push that they're getting, just because I think Tekla seems to be kind of head and shoulders above the two of them as a wrestler goes. That being said, Sky Blue, this is definitely her best match since coming back, and it may be her best match I've ever seen on AEW. So I thought she actually looked good here, like you said. And her versus Jamie Hayter, it came off well. I mean, I'm glad Jamie got the win because I don't think Sky Blue should be beating her. So I'm glad that Jamie got the win. It makes Jamie, I don't want to say it makes her look strong again because again, it really is kind of only Sky Blue, but they have been Triangle of Madness has been getting pushed, and they do kind of have this air about them of being a big deal. So she did beat a member of them, and this is furthering. I'm assuming this is further building towards blood and guts. I'm assuming in some way both these women will be involved at some point. We still don't know what that looks like, and with kind of the long stretched out blood and guts stuff that's been going on, it's losing a little momentum for me. But I think this is part of it still, and so yeah, I mean it's fine. Tekla popping up to challenge after Sky Blue takes the loss, like you said, is definitely a little odd. I think they could have done the promo in reverse order, like you said, and it would have made a little bit more sense. But Tekla versus Jamie Hayter at Wrestle Dream should be fun. So I'm here for that. It's definitely Tekla's definitely the best wrestler when it comes to Triangle of Madness. So putting her against Jamie Hayter at Wrestle Dream seems to be the best pick for Triangle of Madness as a challenger for Hayter, as far as the most exciting, and the match should be fun. So I'm excited for that match. I don't know what it ends up doing in the long run, but I'm excited for the match.
Yeah. All right, and then we have another backstage segment with Renee Paquette and our CEO Mercedes Monet. And now she is 10 belts. Monet, she beat. Tell me who the person she beat that had 10 belts. It was due.
She beat I don't. She beat somebody in Denmark. It was for some unknown title, RML or something, or R.
But no, she beat Ultimo Dragon's record of
Oh yeah,
9
yeah. Oh,
belts.
she tied it for having that belt. Yeah, but who she won the 10th belt off of was a promo that I'm familiar with, and a lady that I've never heard of. So
We talk about it later, but that is the issue with her reign. It's like we don't know who you beat, and so no one really cares that you got 10 belts because who the freak did you beat? The only one we know about is the TBS champion, CMLL, I want to say, is she still New Japan Strong champion?
I believe so. I don't even know. I've lost track now. And honestly, the only one that really matters for our purposes is the AEW TBS Championship, right? I mean, that's really the only one that really matters at this point to a certain extent.
We don't care. Like, no offense. I love Mercedes Monet, but the whole belt collector thing, we should at least know five of where them belts came from. At least five of them. But nonetheless, she was like, and then Renee is hyping her up, and she also says, "Is here. This is also a moment in history. You are now the longest reigning TBS champion. Cool.
Which is crazy to me because it felt like Jade held that belt forever.
Yeah, it was definitely
It
6 years.
seems weird to me that already Mercedes has held it longer than Jade held it. That doesn't seem right.
Like, has it been a year? It's,
Definitely. I mean,
it's
I don't think they're lying. I mean, I don't think they're lying about how long she's had it. It doesn't seem like that.
I
Maybe
know.
it's just because she hasn't done as much with it. I mean, Jade defended it what 50 times in the 2 years,
Yeah,
whatever in the year she had it. It felt like, and maybe it's just because Mercedes only had 5 or 6 matches with it that maybe it doesn't feel like that. But yeah, it doesn't. I was surprised when they said that. Really? Okay.
crazy work. But then they also announced that she's gonna face Persephone for the CMLL championship on Saturday night. I guess she won't be at Wrestle Dream, so if you're not watching Wrestle Dream, you're watching CMLL. Watch that match. It should be fun, I guess. But
Yeah.
this was a
Okay.
5 minute cool. Any you want any more thoughts?
I think it's interesting that your TBS champion doesn't have a match at Wrestle Dream. I find that a little interesting. I find it kind of interesting that you're until kind of the last minute at All Out, you didn't really have a program for your women's world champion until it kind of fell into a fatal four way at the last minute, like a week or two before. It feels like and I know we say this all the time. Tony Khan doesn't, you could tell that he doesn't care as much about the women as he does about the men. I think it's more than WWE does, but not a lot more. And this is just another kind of example of that. I mean, the fact that you don't have her defending that title at Wrestle Dream when she's probably right now maybe your biggest women's wrestler because a lot of the other big ones are out. I mean, so yeah, I mean, it's an indication. It's an indictment of the lack of overall care of women's wrestling as far as AEW goes. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed with that, and I don't really care. For me, I'd rather see her defend her TBS championship against somebody than hear that she won another title at a CMLL event. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm sure on Wednesday we'll hear that now she's the 11 belt champion and she's beat Ultimate Dragons. She surpassed Ultimate Dragons record. She's tied it now, and and nobody cares. That's I don't. I mean, I don't know how much people really care that she has 10 titles or 9 titles from, a bunch of independent, you know, program promotions. I don't really care. I know how good she is. None of this does anything to solidify how good Mercedes Monet is. I mean, she was already what she was before all this. Her defending the AEW TBS championship against solid competitors in very good matches would do a lot more for me to convince me and continue to have her at the top of my women's, the best of the women's wrestlers at the time, at the moment and in history, than it does her winning a whole bunch of titles that I don't know anything about from women that don't measure up. I mean, it just is what it is. So, okay.
yeah. She definitely needs a program. I know there are. I'm not sure when are they gonna finally do the whole women's tag team because they're having them up a little bit, and now it's just like we'll get to it later. So like she definitely needs a pro. I do love the idea of her and Harley Cameron, but if we're not gonna do it anytime soon, she definitely needs a program on AEW. Like she's someone new to face. All right, and so next up, and last but not least, the main event. It is LFI versus the Ops with Hangman Adam Page at ringside to commentate. This was an interesting thing. This was an interesting way to go on the main event. I know Samoa Joe is facing Hangman, but again, LL5 just needs to be more hyped up before putting them in this. We call it in this. What's the word on this stage so quickly? That's just me. But all in all, it was a great match. I'm not sure how much English Roos understands, but I don't I don't think y'all tell him some guys tell him, baby, this isn't your match. This is like you're just here to solicitate. She's like, I don't care. I'm the main character. I'm in the main event. I'm gonna get my licks in. I'm Roosh. That's something that everyone should have in their lives. At one point in time, this is your life. You are the main character of your life. Don't let anyone tell you different. All in all, the Ops won. Any thoughts on the match?
It was okay. I wasn't overly, for a go home show
Yeah,
main event. I was a little underwhelmed, and that's unfortunate because I really like Joe and Shibata and the Ops. I mean, I can kind of take or leave Powerhouse Hobbs. I mean, I don't have a problem with them, but I absolutely love Shibata, and Joe is my current favorite wrestler now. So, it might be my favorite of all time. So, getting to see him beat, choke out Jalistico is fun. Them beating LFI is fun. I'm not sure why LFI is getting this spot right away. Um, and I'm not sure that they've earned it and or necessarily deserve it to a certain extent. I mean, I say that, obviously Roosh has been putting in a lot of good work over there. So is Drew Listico and Sammy is whatever. He's been a pillar for a while now. But like you said, they've been behind the paywall. They've been Ring of Honor kind of stalwarts for a while. So it's weird to see them kind of come in and do this here at this point. Um, and as far as a main event match goes, I guess it is what it is. You get to see, the ops and they defend their titles, which is good. At least the titles aren't just not being defended. So there's that.
yeah,
But I mean, I guess you get to see Joe look pretty dominant, in his mat, coming up against Hangman. You get to see him be pretty dominant here, which makes him look good in his match coming up against Hangman at Wrestle Dream. But we already know what Joe is. So I don't know. It's fine. I mean, I'm glad they got the win. The ops should get the win. So yeah, the match is okay.
and then post match angle, of course, LF5 with Sammy Guevara is beating down the Ops, and this is when Roosh is straight up main character. He looks at Heyman and he just spits at it. He just spits at Heyman. Heyman wasn't gonna do anything, and like you don't have to do it. This is your opponent. You got nothing to do with this. But Roosh spit in his face. He's like, oh, okay, here we go. All right, it's been a pleasure being with y'all, gentlemen. And he comes in and just beats the crap LF5, and LF5 and the ops stand tall, and then Samoa Joe is like, I didn't need you helping me. I didn't need you helping me. So Joe grabs the belt, and he's just looking at it, and he just shoves it in the chest of Heyman, like Heyman gave his belt when they were in the trio match together, and Samoa Joe just walks off the ramp for a go home angle. We definitely needed more. This was like, like just to remind everybody, this is your world heavyweight champion. This is the contender. This was not hyped up enough. So the the story is this might not have been the original play from the beginning, and I'm fine with it. But either way, we could have done a better thing. In my mind, right? Samoa Joe is on this kick of let me remind people who I am. I would have much rather if he just didn't tag in, like in my mind, just don't tag in Powerhouse or Shibata, and you just beat LFI by yourself and just go overboard. I thought that would have been a better angle of this showing how more ruthless uh, Samoa Joe is right now. Like I said, this was like I needed more for your world AEW heavyweight champion. Y'all should have done more to close out. Okay, see you at Wrestle Dream. Joe versus Hangman. Any thoughts?
I tend to agree with you. I mean, I think they could have done more to to hype that up. And I'm not sure that, again, like I said, that this is necessarily a main event spot where for LFI. I'm not sure LFI should be in that main event spot here, especially on the go home show, especially when really you don't have anything going on per se on Wrestle Dream. So, you're kind of a third wheel here. I guess the idea is that it's really more about Joe and Hangman, which it is, So, okay, I mean, whatever. I thought the show was okay for a go home show. Ultimately, I think I was a little underwhelmed when I think about the fact that I'm bored already, kind of with what's been going on with the Demand versus the Hurt Syndicate. And Claudio and Roderick was fine, but they don't. It doesn't really mean anything. It definitely doesn't have any impact on Wrestle Dream. I thought Jurassic Express and Omega versus the Callis family was fine. Jamie Hayter should beat Sky Blue, and the Op should be beating LFI. There wasn't here on this show. There wasn't a whole lot that I thought was unpredictable or was like overly exciting. It all kind of went kind of the way it should. And for a go home show, I thought it was fairly mediocre. I mean, I want to say because of the wrestling, it may have been a hair better than Collision, but not a whole lot. I mean, if Collision was a C, this was like a C plus, B minus. I mean, it's not a whole lot better. I mean, I didn't think it was all that great. I'm gonna give it a C plus. So it's a little bit above Collision just because, but not a whole lot. What are you gonna give the show?
I'm gonna give it a C plus too. We're in the same boat where it's like, listen, I love the face to faces with
Darby
Moxley,
and
and even to a point, make it Statlander and Tony
Tony
Storm was
Storm.
fine. It was fine. But besides that, nothing else really hyped up. Wrestle Dream. This is right. You should watch it. And me not including the World Heavyweight Championship in how the go home show is not a good look. So definitely a C plus.
All right. So we have one more show to review, which was kind of the last hour they did Dynamite, 2 hours, and then they had Collision because Wrestle Dream is on Saturday night. So they wanted to do it, I guess, they still wanted to do Collision. This is weird to me. Like, in my opinion, I feel like you just do a 3 hour Dynamite. I'm not sure why you have the formal like kind of break in shows and be like, okay, Dynamite is for now we're gonna finish with our last hour of Collision. Like the whole thing seems a little weird to me, but I guess it is what it is. So we had 2 hours of Dynamite, and now we have a third hour of Collision. We get the same announcers. We're in the same place. Um,
2 hour
and
day. Like
say that again. I missed what you said. Sorry.
or do a 2 hour collision on Thursday. Like, yeah, like just doing one extra hour today was not necessary.
It seemed a little weird. So we have the Death Riders versus Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy to start the show. It is Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia for the Death Riders, which is an interesting tag team. I'm not sure if they've actually tagged together before, but
No.
they've been in matches together before, as since he's running that, but I don't think they're tagged together. So, kind of interesting pairing of those two versus Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy. As you would imagine, or not as you would imagine. Well, yes, I guess as you could imagine, Pat comes in and ends up interfering, and Garcia ends up. Oh, I'm sorry. Pat comes in. Um, and Garcia ends up losing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm messing this up here. Garcia gets the win. I'm sorry. Garcia pins. I forgot how exactly it happened. I'm looking at the notes here in the notes. Can you remember exactly how it happened? Because I don't remember. I already had a little fatigue by this point, so I'm trying to remember like, and it all blurred together because I watched the first Collision and then Dynamite and then this all one right after the other. So maybe refresh me on exactly. So we had the Orange Punch on John Moxley. Or no, Orange Punch lit up. Moxley was in the crowd for distraction. We had Garcia and O'Reilly go at it. And Cassidy dove onto Wheeler Yuta. We have Marina Shafir distract the referee, and then Pac jumped on Orange Cassidy. And O'Reilly went after Pac, but he got jumped by Claudio, and then Garcia gets the pin for the win for the Death Riders. If I remember correctly.
Yeah. No. So yeah. So and so like O'Reilly had Garcia and Garcia was tapping, but Marina was so distracted by the
Oh,
music
that's right.
that they didn't see it. So that's how
That's
it happened.
right. Yep. I remember with that too. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. You want to talk about post match, or you want to talk about the match first? What do you think of
Uh,
the match? I guess.
what you call it? This is a good. I thought this is a good thing for Garcia and Yuta. I would love to see them more as a tag team. I feel like that's a good sweet spot for them to venture off in just a little bit. Yeah, not a lot, just a little bit. I feel like that'd be a nice little sweet. That'd be a nice little place for them to improve together. And no offense, I don't want to see a lot of Yuta and Garcia single matches. So them being a tag team is all A pluses in my book. And yeah, OC and O'Reilly, they're just in the ring. They're just so freaking good, man. And I love OC can turn it up no matter it in an instant. Where he's like, what? At one moment he has his hands in his pockets doing the Garcia dance, and then at one moment the next minute he's doing a drop, he's doing a super fast drop kick and Slumdog Millionaire. So as of right now, I think they're using OC in the best way possible. Like, okay, this is a good spot for OC and Kyle O'Reilly, and for Garcia to just join the Death Riders, he shouldn't be losing anytime soon. So I am okay with him and you winning this match.
Yeah. No, I tend to agree with you on all that. Again, at least we get to see some different Death Riders. I'm still getting tired of the whole everyone's always involved in everything. You can't really have a clean Death Riders match for the most part.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, and yeah, I like the way they've been using Orange Cassidy since he's been back. Um, so post match, the beatdown is on. Big Tom, Tomohiro Ishii, and Roderick Strong try to make the save, but aren't able to do that. Moxley gets a microphone, calls out Darby Allin, and Darby limps out, but he gets kind of run over and tackled by Claudio, and then Darby continues to crawl his way to the ring. And Marina gives him a shot to the head, but Allen still manages to struggle. These are all just ways of showing how he doesn't quit, right? So he gets run over by Claudio and he crawls his way to the closer. He gets kicked and hit by Marina and he claws his way closer. Eventually, he gets in the ring and him and Moxley, brawl to the back. He pulls out the AEW flag from Mount Everest and says that John Moxley can always just quit. But Moxley counters and ends up giving him a Death Rider onto that flag, that AEW flag. And that is kind of the end of the post match stuff. What do you think of the post match stuff after? What do you think of the post match stuff?
I loved it. It was hilarious. Like Darby coming out as a zombie, and they're like, "You're trying to time." So they did the first segment in the prison, the beginning of the hour. So like, it's been 2 hours. Depending on where the prison is, he could have drove and got back to Collision before the show ended. So yeah, I believe it. I believe it. More so, why is you still bleeding from the beatdown? Is the cat like, sir? That is unsanitary. You gotta fix your face before you do anything else. But yeah, I love the whole. He's not gonna get. He's not gonna stay down. The Claudio uppercut, and you're still crawling, sir. And then Moxley being pissed that you would even suggest that he says I quit. This is the most interesting match because I don't know who's gonna win. I don't know who's gonna win. So this was like again,
Yeah.
out of all the matches, this is the best hyped up match for Wrestle Dream. It is, and it'd be interesting to see how they end it. It is.
Yeah, I agree. What was next?
All right. So what's next? We have Megan Bain with FTR, top gods, and this starts off with Megan Bain on the mic. We rarely hear her talk at all. There's a reason for it. She wasn't bad. She was just here, and so she was just like, Willow Nightingale, how does it feel to know that you mustered up everything you could and still you were defeated by the goddess? And and now you're going to send your little friend Holly Cameron to make up for your losses. And unfortunately, I would run through her too. I don't need to hear her talk. I'm sorry. I don't. You just stand there and you look and you be powerful and let someone else talk for you. That's just me. She didn't suck, but that whole robotic talking is no. I don't like it. No. And then you give the mic to Stokely, and that's when things start heating up. And of course, I love the unrelinquishing hate he has for Willow. Like, words do not begin to describe how much I hate Willow Nightingale. But on the other hand, Jet Speed, I know exactly how much I hate you. Kevin Knight, look at you. Listen, you have so much promise. You have potential, but you keep following around freaking Mike Bailey, who looks like what's his name? Oh my God, pull him out.
Oh yeah, he says he looks like Billy Ray Cyrus with an autoimmune disorder.
Say it again.
But Billy Ray Cyrus, he looks like Billy Ray Cyrus with an autoimmune disorder.
With an autoimmune disorder. What? How? Why? Why? Why is that a a thing in your mind today? I don't. Only crackheads emotionally can put those two things together, and you look and it's not true, but it's just mean. It's mean, and you shouldn't say that about people. All right. And then he gives the mic to Cash, and Cash just gets booed out of the freaking building. And basically, he's like, "Listen, we are the top gods. We are going to beat you." And then people are just booing him, and they're like, "Listen," like basically he's trying to go off the cuff because like he's just getting all the heat, which is what you should do. And then on the screen we have Just Speed and Holly Cameron and Willow. And they're like, cut it off, cut it off, cut it off. And so basically, hey, congratulations, you get the one up on us, but we're gonna get you back for it. And then Harley, I love her. She's like, and now I know what FTR stands for. It stands for Feel the Wrath. And Willow's like, Harley
There's a
Wrath.
W. Wrath starts with W, Harley.
They go out and they start brawling with FTR and Megan Bain.
They sure got to the ring rather quick from the Videotron to the ring, like
right. And so, like, listen, it's supposed to be backstage. So, coincidentally, that's how it's supposed to be. Where if you're backstage, it should be nothing but a quick second. But yeah, they come in, they take out FTR. Willow and Harley come out, take out Megan Bain. But after this, it is Megan Bain versus Harley Cameron. Before we do that match, any thoughts on this segment?
excuse me. Oof. I thought it was fun. Like you said, Megan Bain wasn't terrible, but she definitely needs some more work. Kind of that godly kind of approach to a promo where you're not necessarily. It came off a little robotic, which I don't think is what she was looking for. She's looking for more kind of like that omnipotent, whatever, angelic kind of, which it didn't necessarily come off that way. She definitely needs a little more work, but it wasn't terrible. But yeah, as you said, I don't necessarily need to hear her speak a whole lot. And then it did obviously pick up once Stokely started talking because Stokely's brilliant with the microphone. Everything he does is brilliant. Calling him, Mike Bailey, Billy Ray Cyrus with an autoimmune disease definitely got a pop from me. I enjoyed that. I, you know, I'm I'm happy for both Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, especially Speedball, who I'm very, very big on in general. I'm happy for Willow Nightingale getting what feels like kind of main event time or a main event program with
Yeah.
because FTR is who they are. It feels a little weird for me that FTR is engaged in this. Like, why does FTR care at all about jet speed? Jet speed means nothing to FTR in the scheme of things. Like, so I understand why jet speed is on FTR's, trying to ride their coat heels or wants to beat them because it would be a big notch for them, and it's a huge deal because FTR is who they are. I don't know why FTR cares about them. So in that regard, it is what it is, and I guess it's mostly because Stokely doesn't like Willow, is why this is
Well,
pursued on
yeah.
to a certain extent. But yeah, I mean, okay, I mean, it's fine for what it is, I guess.
Feels like we're getting a little bit off base. This started with FTR beating up Beth Phoenix and Christian, right?
Right.
And that's how people came out to confront them. Just Be had their back. And now it's like we ventured off, and like you said, we ventured off. Like we're not totally off course, but it is like again, FTR and Mega Bay beat Willow and Just Be. So why are we still continuing to do this? I know the whole baby face, we're gonna get them back, but there's only so much you can do in that instance. And I guess before that, Kevin Knight did beat Dax. So if we can get that link back, sure. But we are like we're not there, but we are on the brink of almost we're is a short thread of how this comes together and why we're beating each other up. Yeah.
Agreed. Uh, we had Megan Bain and Harley Cameron in our next
It's back.
match. Um, let's see.
No, no,
Megan Bain gets the win. Okay.
yo, I wasn't sure what we were doing. This was a squash match, and I don't like that. I don't like, especially for Harley Cameron. I don't like that. I don't like Megan Bain to the point of her squashing Harley Cameron or thinking of her importance. Where basically she was just playing around with Harley. Harley got a couple of near falls in one up, but it wasn't a lot. Where basically it was Megan Bain being dominant, and fine, whatever. Like, what are you gonna do? We said before, all this to push Megan Bain. Put her next program should be for a title. Like let her beat Mercedes Monet. Let her. I think Mercedes Monet is probably more of a factor than her facing Statlander right now. But yeah, if her being undefeated, it should mean something, and her next program should be something of way bigger proportions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that I saw this as more of kind of like a showcase for Megan Bain than a squash, just because it lasted, almost 8 minutes, and Harley Cameron did have a couple spots. But yeah, as a general rule, this was one of those things where it was one of those let's make Megan Bain look really good.
Yeah.
And it's at the expense of Harley Cameron, which is definitely disappointing because Harley Cameron's extremely exciting, and I want more, not more, but I want a lot for her. She's only been here for a minute, so to say more, she hasn't necessarily not had enough, but I want a lot for her. I hope that the future is bright for her in AEW. I get concerned a little bit that maybe the powers that be, the Tony Khans and who's ever, helping him in the creative room, um, maybe don't see her ultimate potential, and see her as more just kind of like a gimmick and a sideshow to just kind of be around. Which is a little disappointing because I think she's an extremely solid wrestler as well. So, I hope that there's a bright future for Harley Cameron. I don't necessarily like her losing to Megan Bain. I understand why she does. I think the match should have been a little bit more competitive, even though Harley did have some spots, just because you don't want to make Harley look like she's completely insignificant in your attempt to make Megan Bain look really strong. So, but it's fine for what it was ultimately. I mean, I'm so on Megan Bain. We should be getting warmer on her, but I'm not really warming yet. I'm still kind of so. We'll see. It's like let's see what ends up ultimately happening. Right now, it's been a hair underwhelming, but I guess we'll see what ends up happening.
We will see.
We had Eddie and Hook. They want to move into the tag team. Eddie says, I've had a couple singles matches and that's fine. I got a couple wins. But really, what we want to do is we want to be tag team champions. So we're going to break into the tag team champions and we're going to open an open challenge for the tailgate show for which I guess is 0 hour. Is that right? Is that what we're calling 0 hour for Wrestle Dream is the tailgate, I guess. So I guess we're going to get them on the tailgate. What do you think about them working as a tag team?
Sure. Okay.
I mean,
Uh,
it's the only way it really makes sense, right? I mean, otherwise, what is Hook there for? I mean, so far Hook's just been there
yeah.
to stand next to Eddie, right? If you're not going to wrestle as a tag team, what is Hook there? Any way, shape, or form. So at some point, I knew they had to do this tag team work. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, let's see. Like I said, Hook has had some of the best mentors or tag team partners now in his time in AEW. And if this isn't his time to get over with the guy who is extremely over, then I don't know that it's going to happen. So I don't know. It doesn't feel Hook is so young that you never want to say, "Oh, there's a last chance," but it feels like he's had a few opportunities and hasn't had the ability to quite get over yet. And this is another kind of like, here's a third, fourth chance. Let's see if we can get Hook something right. Like, and I guess we'll see. So
Something. Yeah. And then we have another backstage segment with the unacclaimed. So
unacclaimed. I love that the unacclaimed.
it's I don't hate it. Where
It
Max
is
and Anthony Bowens are
stupid.
listen. We're never ever tag teaming again. Cause I would never share will mean the ring with the likes of you. And I love Max Cass. We're talking about I have Tommy of my body. I can choose as a tag team with you ever again. And they're like, they're black. And like, yeah, this was me and Rihanna doing her fashion line. I'm like, we're just picking again. Something has nothing to do with wrestling. We're just picking out this plaque with you of your accomplishments. I don't hate it. And then the interview was like, sorry guys, but it's not up to you if you don't tag anymore. Like, it's like and so they're like, and so she was like, and there we have it from the acclaimed. They're like, no, no, don't say that. We are not the acclaimed anymore.
Well,
This is fun. I don't mind it at all. Any
I
thoughts?
thought it was hysterical. I mean, like I said, when we talked about this on Collision, what they did on Collision, I was very down kind of on where both these guys were going ultimately. I mean, I'm up on both these guys. I like them both. I love them both. But I was kind of down on where they were going. And now that they put these two together and this kind of can they coexist and they can't coexist kind of thing, it's hysterical. The back and forth is hysterical. These two are very good as far as the comedy stuff goes, and this is working very well. So I'm here for this. I don't know where it ultimately goes, but I'm kind of here for it at the moment. I don't want them to drag it out too long. You can't just have them bickering week after week indefinitely. Something has to pan out where either they get it together or they don't. But for the moment, for the last couple of weeks, it's been very fun.
No, it definitely has. Yeah.
Let's see, what do we have next? We had Briscoe. We had the Don Callis family versus Mark Briscoe, Bandito, and Brody King, or Brodito, I guess. Let's see, we
Yeah.
have Kyle Fletcher and Rocky Romero, and Lance Archer. It looks like for the Don Callis family. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's fine. I mean, Don Callis family. Oh no, I'm sorry. The oh geez, Briscoe hits the sit out powerbomb for the tombstone for the win, pinning Rocky Romero. Mark Briscoe, with the nice pin. Um, the match is fine. The Don Callis family beyond Kyle Fletcher and Okada and Keshida. I don't know how exciting they are. They have a lot of guys that I really like. I just don't know how exciting they are. Um, as far as what they do on a regular basis. There's a lot of them, and having a big family is good for Don Callis. Other guys do get lost in the mix, um, but it is what it is. I thought the match ultimately itself was fine, and Don Callis family getting the win is. I'm sorry, Mark Briscoe getting the win. I apologize. Let me rephrase that. Mark Briscoe getting the win is nice, especially heading into um, Wrestle Dream. So, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this for what it was. What did you think of this?
No, I totally agree with you. Again, at least we had one of these matches from Collision that hyped up Wrestle Dream, so I am good with that. Um, Still doesn't make me like, oh, after this, Mark Briscoe's gonna win. It's like, no, I don't see that happening. But it was a fun match. I totally agree with you about the Don Callis family. Again, I don't know why we're trying to separate him and Mark Davis. It feels like everyone else that's attached, like all the other mixed match tag teams of the Don Callis family, aren't hyped up if it's not Okada or Takeshita. So it's like just like if we're gonna do a trios match, just put Mark Davis and Cal Fletcher together just to hype it up just a little bit more. Listen, it was fine, and for Collision, it was a good main event.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at why if you're working the Don Callis family and you're working Kyle Fletcher as part of a team, why you don't include Mark Davis in that. Like the three-way here should have been Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, and Rocky Romero and or Lance Fletcher or Lance Archer, as opposed to what they did. So in that regard, I mean, you would think that it would make more sense, especially because he's part of the Callis family, to have Fletcher and Davis work together when they're doing a tag team or a trios match. But again, I guess if the goal is to keep Kyle Fletcher kind of independent of Mark Davis because you don't want to get too wrapped up in the whole Aussie Open nostalgia, I guess that's how you do it. But it seems weird to me to keep them apart when they're naturally, when everyone knows they've been together. So, yeah, I mean,
Right.
again, it is what it is. I kind of was hoping that Briscoe might get the pin over Fletcher just to kind of maybe boost that match even a little bit more, but they did a good job. Post match, Briscoe and Fletcher are brawling into the back, and here comes El Clone, the red or dark hologram for distraction. Then Okada comes out to take out Bandito and Brody King as he poses with the titles to end that episode of Collision. What do you think of the very ending with Okada standing tall with the Broditos Tag Team Championships?
I don't know what to think of it because he basically like I could do this by my like the catch him over here and I took him by myself. Well, that I don't know how that deems for the match on tonight, but it was a good. I think it's a good clothing angle, definitely.
Yeah,
We'll say all we said earlier. I do love Takeshita and Okada together, but I don't want Brodita to be gone so soon. So we'll see what happens. But it was fine.
is I'm trying. Collision's normally only an hour, right?
No, 2 hours.
Oh, Collision's normally 2 hours. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. This felt like very short episode of Collision because it was only an hour. So even though it was a long hour, even though it was a long dynamite, even though it was a third hour essentially a dynamite, it was a long dynamite. It was a short Collision. So that was actually the main event, and that's the end of that episode of Collision. So I guess it's hard to kind of separate Dynamite from Collision when they're just back to back, and when there really wasn't a whole lot
Right.
going on in the Collision per se afterwards. But I guess grade Collision, the second Collision show, and we'll see if it gets a better grade than either the first Collision or Dynamite. What are you going to give this hour?
So, real quick, would you they brought Collision down to an hour, or you prefer Collision just to be 2 hours?
Ooh, that's a good question. If nobody's watching it and it's pre-scripted, I mean pre-taped, it might as well be an hour. But at the same time, like you're Tony Khan, and Tony Khan wants all shows to be equal. And you want people to try. Your goal is to try to get people to tune in to Collision, so you want to try to make it important. I guess it kind of has to be a 2 hour show to a certain extent. I mean, I don't. I I understand that a lot of times an hour is not enough to convey what's going on. There it just isn't a lot of times. So I get that. At the same time, if it's a show that nobody's watching and it's already pre-taped, an hour is probably long enough. So I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know because Rampage was an hour and it felt like enough. That's what Dynamite went to when it was like I was trying to make it into a rampage.
Yeah.
And well, on the other hand, you like they don't have a bloated roster, but I do think they have enough for both shows. So I want to pull the trigger right now. I would put I would keep it at 2 hours.
Let's see. If I'm going to grade this hour of Collision as a third show, it seems like it's roughly right around where the other shows were. It's got to be a C or a C plus somewhere right there. I mean, the Death Rider. I mean, Yuta and Garcia versus Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy was fine, but again, you got interference and all that stuff. I mean, it is what it is. Again, like you said, I don't need to see Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta necessarily being the representative tag team for the Death Riders a lot. So, I mean, that leaves a little. At the same time, I get tired of seeing Moxley and the same guys all the time. So, you have enough guys that we should see Yuta and Garcia sometimes. So, I thought it was fine. Megan Bain squashing Harley Cameron wasn't a whole lot of fun. Mark Briscoe, I guess, ultimately getting the tombstone pin or the pin on Rocky Romero is exciting, but it would have been more exciting if it was on Fletcher. I mean, I all this definitely builds. I think. Well, other than, I mean, Megan Bain and Harley Cameron don't build for Wrestle Dream; they build for blood and guts. I guess ultimately. God, I don't know. Yeah, I guess this is a C2. This was not any better. It wasn't any better than Collision from the Saturday before. So if I gave that a C, this has to be a C2. I think so. For me, I think Dynamite still roughly gets the very narrow victory with a C plus for me. So.
Agreed.
Oh,
Agreed.
agreed. All right. So AEW Dynamite from October 15th is our winner this week for Winner's Circle, beating out Collision from Saturday, October 11th, and the extra hour after Dynamite on the 15th by just a hair. We give them both C's. Um, so please make sure and join us back here 5 p.m. tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern for AEW Wrestle Dream Watch Along. I will be here. Miss Anika, who sounds like she might also have a cold, unfortunately has to work tonight with her cold, so everyone feel bad for her. She would love to be here, uh, feeling better and watching Wrestle Dream with us, I'm sure. But I think CM should be here, and I don't know about Sammy Joe, but come back 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and join us for our Wrestle Dream watch along. We'll do a little bit of cleanup here as we before we get out. Join us every Tuesday night for the cookout, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, where we all come together and talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling. Come for the rest, come for the chaos, come for the wrestling, stay for the chaos. That's the saying. Sorry, I'll get it right eventually. Um, on Friday nights, which if you tuned in last night, you caught Anika watching SmackDown every Friday night. You can catch Anika, and hopefully somebody will join her for a SmackDown starting live at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, where she watches the show in real time and gives you her real time reactions and opinions as it's happening. Every Saturday, as you're with us here, bright and early, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, we do the Winner's Circle, where we review AEW Collision and AEW Dynamite from the week before or from the days before and grade each show and declare a winner. This week it was Dynamite again by a nose over Collision from the 11th and the extra hour on the 15th after Dynamite. So let's see, you can find us on all of these social media platforms. You can scan this QR code. That QR code will take you to Linktree, and from Linktree, you can get to all our social media from one easy location, or you can just go to any of these social media platforms and you can find us there and interact with us. Please come check us out on these platforms. We love to interact with you. You guys are the best of us, so we appreciate each and every one of you. So come check us out and interact with us on these social media platforms. Last but not least, you can catch the audio version of the Cookout podcast if you don't have time to sit and watch it live on Tuesday nights or to watch the replay later. You can always just listen to it. It is available on these podcast platforms on the screen here. So make sure and check that out. You can listen to us while you work out, while you run your errands, wherever you can get your audio fix, you can listen to the Cookout podcast. So, unless there's anything else to say, we will cut out them lights. And as usual, say peace.
Bye.